Wizards are just make-believe people who have become part of the stories and legends of the Middle Ages. In those days, wizards were supposed to help kings and knights by casting spells and looking into the future. We don't believe in that sort of thing much now. One man, though, is keeping wizardry alive. He's Ian Brackenbury Channell, better known as the Wizard of Christchurch. Shona Geary watched him in action.
Every day around lunchtime, people gather in Cathedral Square. They come to stand and stare or to meet friends. Many come just to witness the explosive personality of the wizard.
Just checking velocity of wind and sparkle in the air. I think it'll be 6 out of 10 today.
The square is the wizard's favourite haunt, and he likes to go there and harangue the crowd.
People are getting more gullible every day. People enjoy. That's incredible.
Never seen anything like, you don't have anything like this back in the States. This is just, it's wild. Seems like he just talks a lot of bull, a lot of it.
The religion is fairly harmless. Apart from a few human sacrifices, it's exciting, good music, ceremonies are interesting, and it teaches men how to keep their wives controlled, and it teaches mothers how to keep their children under control. What has science taught us? How to blow each other to bits.
He's nuts.
Who have taught girls?
It's crazy.
Sitting around
It's great.
doing nothing.
Entertaining.
Yeah, very entertaining, yeah.
The wizard is entertaining. He's a good performer. But how crazy is he? At home, he's like anyone else. The only difference is he has a very special interest in wizards and in what they are.
Well, I think in our history, at least, there's one outstanding figure, Merlin, that comes up in all the myths and stories. And Merlin is a kind of a super advisor, almost a vizier, or like a prime minister used to be before they became top dogs. There was a time when the king was the most important person, and they were advised by people. But then in the 18th century, the king lost their powers, and the politicians took over. I still would rather work with aristocrats and kings than with politicians, because they're not working the same way, different form of government. So wizards would be advisors and wise people, I suppose. I'm a university man for years, so it's a lot of wisdom's involved in it. The instantaneous media, like this one now, this instantaneous, you can talk to a wizard in the garden, right now in my little garden, is special. You couldn't do that 50 years ago. This is making magic, I think, come more alive. That's why I'm doing so well, I think.
How do you get on with children?
Well, I don't like children much. As a child, I didn't like children either. I like children that like me, of course. It's different. I think children should admire and respect older people. But a lot of the day, adults don't like adults at all. They prefer children. And they go all the time playing with children, watching children, and children are bored stiff with this. So I've found over the years that children like me because I don't like children much, and therefore they have respect for me. And that's one of my basic rules.
What sort of child were you?
Curious, and I was full of tricks too. And I was a nice kid if I wasn't made to do things. But as soon as they said you've got to do this, I could be difficult. Like school, I always hated school because it was compulsory. But I love reading and libraries and asking questions. But I hated school itself because it was all like a prison. And I'd much rather have learned things my own speed too, my own way, instead of being forced along a track by rather dumb people. And so I spent a lot of my time annoying the teachers in ways they couldn't stop me doing it. It was clever enough so I couldn't be expelled, but it annoyed them so much they hated my guts for doing it.
He says he doesn't like children, but what do they think of him?
I like his tall hat. And he's funny. He's really funny the way he talks.
Do you like him?
Yes, he's quite nice.
Is he what you'd imagine a wizard to be?
Yes, I think he looks like that. But I thought he would have stars and moons in his hat.
Is he like a real wizard?
Oh, yes.
The wizard likes to have a bit of fun with people, and his magic is in the way he deals with them.
Well, I do use magic quite a lot, because I think a wise man will use lots of magic if he's faced with silly people, and particularly dumb people, who take things very seriously. So I put a lot of acts on, a lot of masks, if you like, a lot of tricks, because if you don't understand how crowds behave, then however wise you may be, they'll ignore you, won't they? It's not good to be wise and shy and say, oh dear, I wish they'd do other things. So the use of magic is most important.
For the wizard, the good life is a playful life, and magic isn't making it that way. He's put a sparkle into Christchurch that may soon spread. The government's thinking of making him the official wizard of New Zealand. Shonagiri for the Video Dispatch.